Hi,
Hi
friends.
guys.
Hope you guys are doing so well.
Welcome to another one of our podcast episodes. Today we're going to be talking about neuroplasticity and the benefits of having novel experiences.
Yes, I'm so excited for this one.
Me too. So, I guess what inspired this episode is my recent travels and Julia's recent new experiences and little trips. And so we were just basically like catching up and talking about um, how getting yourself into a new environment and just like going somewhere maybe you've never been or that just takes you out of your routine and your like habitual environment can really stimulate a change in how you feel about things, how big your problems seem, and then
Mhm.
also just like a shift in perspective on certain things in your life and like circumstances. And I guess we both just recently have just benefited from that and from going on trips or just like exploring something entirely new. And yeah, there's a little bit of a neuroscience background to it too. And we just wanted to have a little conversation about doing new
Or travel.
things. Yeah, and
Yeah.
travel.
I wonder, I want to put it on you guys, the listeners, like if you had a travel experience where you're out there, your problems are put on hold, right? Like you're not thinking about back home, you're completely immersed in a new experience. And I think when you are traveling and you're somewhere that you're not familiar with, you have to be present and you have to be fully immersed in it to really truly experience it. Um, and especially like wanting to feel like a local, right? Like you really have to adapt to not only a new scenery but a new culture, which is really cool. And
Yes.
so there's just so many benefits. Jill's in Europe right now. I have been to Europe with her twice, I think, and that
Yeah.
time is just so rich. And so yeah, this podcast is going to be um recommending travel.
Yes, exactly.
So
I love it. And so, yeah, I mean, if you can book a trip somewhere and, take yourself into a complete, like, different culture, something that is very different from what you usually surround yourself with, um, amazing. And if you have limited time or resources or just like don't want to commit to something as big, I feel like there's always a way to just do something new and have a new experience within your like
whether
circle.
that's going to a place that's 10 minutes from where you live or like a
Exactly. But
drive
just
city, nearby city.
yeah, exactly. It can be like a drive up the coast for 2 hours and exploring a new place, and that might be a completely different world too. Like, so it doesn't have to be Europe or Asia or somewhere completely different. Like, it can be, within your proximity, but just something that is new to you, somewhere you've never been, and that
Yeah.
is like a different environment from what you're used to. I guess, like, yeah, there's just so many benefits to doing that. And I just really feel like when I travel, I feel closer to like my soul in a way. It's really interesting. Like what you were talking about with being present. Like you're not so much like carried away by thoughts or like sometimes like things that can, take over the moment
Hmm.
and at times like almost like cloud that like presence and zest for life that we all have within us. And I feel like travel just like brings you back to that. And it's so interesting because in a way like maybe it just like sets you free to be more present because there's nothing else that changes. It's just that you are so in the moment. You're so like in the now because you're taking it all in, all these experiences that are brand new. And that's almost a way to like snap you out of your like anxious mind that can sometimes take over.
Yeah, it's like you're not taking your life so seriously.
Yeah.
That's how I've viewed it in the past.
Yes, totally. Yeah, that's so true. And there's something beautiful about like what you said too, with experiencing a new culture and really immersing yourself in that. Like, it's like you're opening up your mind or even like your sense of self to like integrating something new, like to maybe like
Right.
become something greater in a way.
Okay, yeah, because you're more open-minded, you're not as closed off. You're like, oh my gosh, this something is different from me. What can I take from it? How could it even enrich my life more? Like something that I really took from, okay, so the last time I went to Europe with Jill, I was in the middle of moving. I was moving, I was still staying in Santa Barbara, just moving places. And I remember kind of feeling that light that you experienced of like, it's like a new motivation. I don't really know but how to explain it, but I felt like a new like energy or passion that
Yeah.
I told myself when I go back to Santa Barbara, I want to implement all these new habits because I just have this newfound energy. And part of it was like, I want to walk everywhere. I don't want to use ice. I want to have smaller coffees. And now I still do those things. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
I walk as much as I want to, but I walk a lot, just not like to and from places like I can now. Or and I can now, so I should. But some of the things that I really loved about Europe was um, how you can walk everywhere, the history of the architecture. Um, Things were just more local, and I tried to find that in America. Like I tried to find all my local places. I made it a priority to work right where, like very close proximity to where I live, so that I can walk to and from work. And so that was really important to me. And then like also coffee. This is very niche, but I like to have smaller cups of coffee. I hate having like the Starbucks Quran, whatever.
The
And people,
gigantic ones.
yeah, it's just so to me, it's just kind of unnecessary. No hate to anyone who loves it, like good for you. Um, I just it took me kind of out of that, like, oh, this isn't everything.
Hmm.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. No,
Back
it's
to
so
you.
true. And I love that you integrated that after your trip and you keep doing it. Like it's like now it's a part of you. It's become a part of you by, you know,
You're also part of me.
yeah, seriously. No, I feel that literally, like even like being with you, you just like I think you changed your style in a way, like it elevated you in some
Yeah.
ways, and then but you brought that back and now it's a part of you and you have like a beautiful combination of what you were before previously and then what you've acquired during that
That is a
trip.
really good point of like you carry your experiences with you day to day.
Yeah.
And what what experiences do you want to carry with you? Obviously,
Mhm.
it's good and bad, but you get to choose which expression you want to unfold to other
Mhm.
people. And I think that's why traveling is also so important.
Yes, absolutely. Because also it like cracks you open a little bit so that you are um like welcoming in new ways of like being and seeing the world and acting within the world. Because I feel like when we're always in our little bubble, um it's it's hard to have these like breakthroughs or like see things from a different perspective because if people are just doing what we've always been doing and what we see what we're used to, then it's kind of hard to, I don't know, like realize certain things, like of like, say the walking and the coffee thing. Like if you never think about it, if you're never in that environment where people just drink their little coffees and like it's normal and it's a part of the culture, then you wouldn't have had that idea. Like your mind wouldn't have gone there. But then because you
Yeah, yeah,
traveled, your mind saw that, you saw it as being better, then you brought it back with you. And I think that's just so beautiful. It can like open your mind up to just new and better things that you can then bring into your life. So it's like enriching in that way.
It is so enriching. So enriching. And then you also talked about how, or you brought up how it turns on new genes
Yeah,
or
well, new neural connections. So new synapses
okay,
are being formed because it's a way to promote neuroplasticity. And for those who don't know what neuroplasticity is, it's basically the brain's ability to change itself and change its structure as a response to experience. And that's something that we have actually like lifelong, but for some people, it happens at a higher rate, and for other people at a lower rate. And one thing that is really good to keep the brain plastic, and the reason neuroplasticity is really good is because it kind of makes us grow and move forward. And for people who feel stuck or feel like caught up in these loops and mental patterns and feel like they can't generate new thoughts, they're stuck, they need more of the like neuroplasticity to happen. For them, it's probably happening at a rate that's a little bit too low. So also if someone's experiencing that and they feel stuck, going on a trip, going somewhere, traveling can actually really help just rewire the brain and make the brain I don't know, just switch out of that into neuroplasticity, generating new connections, and then
yeah,
just having that happen and kind of like bringing that back into action can like lead to chain reactions there too. And you can bring that motivation with you after.
that's really fascinating. But and I have a question that kind of it takes us a little off topic. Do you know what constitutes someone having slower neuroplasticity ability versus faster? Or is that something that's like a muscle too?
I don't know if it's like it's definitely probably partly genetic, partly environmental, which is almost everything. But we also know that like BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, for example, like that's one molecule that really helps with like generating new connections and like stimulating neuroplasticity. But now like things that do produce BDNF or are associated with higher BDNF levels are actually also things like exercise and
Right.
good sleep and actually even like exposure to really hot or cold temperatures. Those things already also like elevate your BDNF levels. But then actually with neuroplasticity itself, like traveling and just novel experiences can be super powerful there. So if you feel like you're stuck in just like a routine and you never are having new experiences at this point, like that could be something that is really helpful. And then also if you don't have a lot of time to travel or break out from your routine, then integrating these things like exercise, like, even if you go on a run in a new place, that is like a good combo of both exercise and like the neuroplasticity element. And then like having the cold plunges, the sauna, and good sleep, like all these things also help kind of like move from the stuck place into like generating new thoughts. And then like kind of like letting your mind grow and move past whatever keeps it stuck.
New place, new thoughts. New
Exactly.
experiences, new thoughts. That's funny that you say it. Okay, first when you were saying that, it made me feel happy because I didn't know I was even enhancing my BDNF neuro factor by exercising and by going in the sauna or cold plunge. So that made me really happy to hear. My second point. Oh, yesterday I went on a long walk in a new place that I don't really walk because yeah, I just walked in a new place and I thought that like I was like I could have walked by my house, but I really wanted to walk in this place and see these other beaches and towns and it made me happier. And I don't know why. I didn't know why, but I was just like, this makes me feel like happier and lighter. Um, and so now I know why, and that's probably the cause. And so yeah, even if it's as little as walking in a new neighborhood or walking in a different part of your town, it's just I think it is going to really give you that little boost, um, to keep you going later. And
Yep.
I like that you said that, like when you feel like you're stuck to do new things, it sounds so simple, right? Like obviously you feel stuck
Yeah.
because you're doing the same things over and over. It's so repetitive. Like you just need to get out of that that environment to
Hmm.
to have a new train of thought.
Hmm.
Anyways,
Yeah, no, it's actually so simple and it sounds simple and almost like stupid to point it out, but at the
I
same
know.
time, it's actually the hardest thing to think of when you're stuck.
Well, and it's hard to do when you're stuck too, right? Like when
Hmm.
you're stuck, you're you want to stay stuck. Almost it's almost like a stubborn thing sometimes.
Hmm.
But once you get out of it, it's just like going to the gym. I feel like I'm kind of past this point now because I know now, but it's like before you start going to the gym, you're so comfortable. I think it plays into like what we talked about last week about
Hmm.
comfort. If you haven't watched that one, go and watch it about the comfort crisis. But I think it ties into that a little bit. And so getting just going to a new city, going to a new place is going to take you out of that comfortability because you're going to have the dopamine, you're going to have maybe a little adrenaline that's going to help uplift you rather than, reverting to other things. And so I think that's also a reason why um travel is so important. It's just I think we're getting to the novelty. Like the novelty of these experiences um will help get you out of that stuck place.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you said, it's like a cocktail of neurotransmitters that's then being released that is a response to the novelty. It's not just BDNF. That's just like one way of like measuring neuroplasticity, but it's so many other things. It's like you have the dopamine, you have the serotonin, like you have just the adrenaline too of being in this new place and like seeing new things. And as an experience and like maybe like moving away from the science a little bit, it's like this like awe factor. It's like you're in awe of what's around you. And that just takes you so much into the present and like that connection with whatever you believe in spiritually and like life itself.
Oh,
I feel
that
like,
yeah, that place by your house that we would run to in Switzerland,
yeah,
that what is it called?
Otta,
Otta.
the
That
river,
so yes,
or up on the mountains, the one at the river or up the one up by the
the river
castle. Yeah,
with the church or like
yeah,
the yeah, that
yeah.
place was so that's where I felt awe at awe or um
Yeah.
yeah, I loved running there too. And then when I went to the Eiffel Tower, I like almost cried when
I
my dad
remember that. That was
I
so
know.
cute.
It's just so big. Even when I'm from the Bay Area, even when I go to like the Golden Gate Bridge, I still am like taken back. My
Right.
dad like was at tears when we pulled up to the Coliseum too. He was just like, "Whoa." So it's
Yeah.
like those little monuments
Monuments.
can, I think, because there's so much history in it, and I think it can bring you to that. But
Hmm.
you're so right. Like it is that awe moment. It does make you feel way more connected to
Hmm.
yourself, like you said. And this also is something that I have been thinking about. Um, like you noticed when you were pulling away from yourself, like you know what it feels like to be you.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people, it's common to lose that. But I feel like
Hmm.
when you do travel, you do find yourself again because you're like, oh, what do I like? What do I not like? Like you're learning about yourself. And I think that's also really important too.
Yes, exactly. And oh, that's so beautiful because in a way, you eliminate the noise and you eliminate like maybe what everyone around you is thinking, and you actually can listen to yourself. And
Yeah.
so it's a way to connect to your true self versus being like a part of the culture that you live in. And that's inevitable. That's going to happen a little bit no matter where you are. But I guess you can shape that too. And sometimes when we're not consciously shaping that, it just happens. And then maybe we're still like affected by that environment in ways that may not resonate with us. So then being in a
Yeah.
complete different environment where you do connect to yourself and can ask yourself those questions, like, what do I truly like as just
Yeah.
like me, myself, and then bring that with you. And I guess like integrating it and cultivating that more in your life too is beautiful, but it makes you think for yourself.
I love that. And we need more of that, especially in our worlds where we're
Oh, yeah.
so bombarded by everyone else's thoughts. So,
Mm-hmm. It's
but
so
yeah,
true. It's so
yeah.
true. Yeah, so I guess we already talked a little bit about what we or you can do to promote neuroplasticity. And I guess like I'd say like book a trip first thing if you can somewhere
Well,
that you've never been or like I mean the best thing is a culture that you don't know, I feel like, because that really puts things into perspective. And then if that's not, in the near future for you, then just like a road trip somewhere, or even just like you said, like a new walk in your neighborhood. Like that can be something that's
yeah.
super simple,
Right.
but it takes you out of your routine and it shows you something new.
Yeah, 100%. And you're okay, this was something that I thought of too. Like, I was I don't know, I like to observe people sometimes, and I always think, we're all in our own little worlds, we're all in our own little bubbles. And sometimes and I think my world is so important, obviously, because I live it. And so I'll look at other people living their lives and I'm like, they are in their own world. And to them, their life is as important as mine is to me. And
Hmm.
I think that also helps put into perspective of not taking life so seriously and also prioritizing the other. Like, you know, their life is just as important as mine. And like, they're in their own little worlds, and my problems to them mean nothing.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like, their problems to me also mean nothing because I don't know them, but they are so big to ourselves. I
Hmm.
don't know, and that kind of helped me put some more things into perspective. Like, yeah, if travel is not on your agenda, like just observe someone else, like observe their own life because it's like it'll help you take out of your own life and not
Yeah.
take it so seriously. And we can get into like the spiritual factor of like losing your life and like surrendering because I think that's important as well, but that could be for another podcast. But yeah, that's also something you can do if you have the frame of mind to do it of like, okay, like I don't have to get so worked up over this one little thing. Like it's gonna pass. It'll be fine.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's something I
Yeah,
like.
no, that's such a good tip. I love that. And I love to people watch too. It's like
Yeah,
actually like, yeah, it really helps because like you just kind of I don't know, your mind starts wandering and you start thinking about like, yeah, what's going on in their life and world. And I don't know, it just takes you out of your own problems a little bit. That's true.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
And then another thing can be like reading a new book too, because I love that with books, you really have someone else's perspective, and especially if it's
literally reading someone's mind when you read a
yeah,
book.
exactly. Yeah, ex especially if it's written from the like I, me perspective. Like
Yeah,
it's so valuable at times because it just, yeah, it takes you out of your own little mind.
really.
Hmm.
But anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at least for me, like just taking yourself to a place that you feel you're gonna feel that awe factor and feel that
Yeah.
beauty, if that's, and I feel like we can all find that no matter if we travel far or just, right outside of our door. Like take yourself to beautiful places that you enjoy and you're gonna experience that. It's gonna take you into the moment and out of your mind. So
I
yeah,
agree.
I think
But
that's
thank
everything for today, right?
yeah, it is. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July if you're in the States
Happy
and a great
4th.
week. We love ya.
Yeah, we hope to see or hear you soon and read some comments and let us know what you've done that was new for you because we also are looking for inspiration and
Yes,
novel
please.
things in
Let
our
us
own
know.
lives. So, yeah, and let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about next as well.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.